human being is beyond evil. And just because slave owners, most of them didn't kill their slaves or remove an eye, does not make them good people. What kind of narcissism and self-adulation and lack of apathy does it take for people to own, sell, and think they're entitled to people's bodies? I mean, we elected a man who was buddies with a human trafficker. With the things that Trump owned, he could have been a human trafficker himself. He had access to a lot of underage people. He had business contact. How do we know he's not a human trafficker? We don't. He probably is. And you cannot be that rich without supplying favors for people. And sometimes the favor isn't voting the way your state doesn't want. Sometimes it's supplying somebody who is vulnerable and can't consent. Just because a relationship is legal does not make it okay. A lot of Epstein's victims were older than 17 years of age. That doesn't make it okay. It's still illegal. Coercion, manipulation, grooming is illegal, regardless of age. And there's something insidious about believing that women are inferior. Because if they believe women are inferior, how likely are they to respect no? There's a dating trope that women play hard to get, that women don't mean what they say. This is one of the worst things men can believe. And yes, I'm sure there are women out there who play games. As long as you're not mean about it or catfishing somebody, there's nothing wrong with playing games. I mean, it can turn toxic if you want it to, but playing games with people can be consensual, expected, and fine. Saying that somebody is playing games and that what they say isn't what they mean is how women get assaulted. Boys will be boys creates assaulters. I don't care if the people in the chat were 17 or 45, even though age kind of seals the fate of boys will be boys. Regardless of age, you know what is and isn't acceptable. Even roaches know consent. Men know consent. Everyone knows consent. They just don't care. And when you create an environment that makes it acceptable to make jokes about death chambers and women being assaulted and calling black people, and I don't even like that term, calling African American people the worst words imaginable. And some of the words, I didn't even know what they meant. I had to look them up because I didn't want to know, but I wanted to know why people were so angry about it. The level of contempt that straight men have for women. Every 10 minutes in the U.S., a man kills usually an intimate female partner. This is how our society treats the people who birth the next generation. And a lot of the time, the church perpetuates and teaches these kind of things. I mean, they created Josh Duggar and all of these. There's at least 7 spiritual leaders have been arrested that knew and walked around Trump a lot. You never know a man until you know the people he eats with, plays with, and who he speaks highly of. And if you make it to the top, there is no way you can't discern if somebody is a bad human being. And we reward men for being predators. Because none of these people want a white, straight, cis man to receive any uncomfortable consequences. So they'd rather the woman is pressured to drop it or creates an environment where the next woman won't report it because of how the last woman who reported it was treated. The assault is bad enough, but most survivors have admitted on camera that how strangers and law enforcement and family react to felonies being convicted against vulnerable people is worse than the initial crime. And the church is a master of keeping women beneath men. I mean, it is the cornerstone of Christianity that women are inferior. And just because a few women were treated well by Jesus does not undo the way Jesus' followers treat women. If you support groups that marginalize women, see them as inferior, the weaker sex, you are a danger to women and children. Anyone who supports Trump is a danger to anyone who is not white and male. Usually a white man, especially. And the women who support, marry, and pursue careers with these people are just as bad. They're so indoctrinated to believe that men should lead. They lose out on their dreams, their lives. It is astounding how little men actually view women. It's the cornerstone of every major religion, utter contempt for women. And just because one of the major leaders in your religion treated women a bit better than all the other men does not make that man a good man. Men who are decent and safe do not view women as the weaker sex. They don't view women as not having minds of their own. They protect and defend women's rights, women's abortion rights, women's access to being paid equally, pursuing whatever career they want, regardless of which gender has the most workers. Because if women were as strong as men, we would have kicked their butts years ago. But because the majority of women are not as strong or stronger, men have stayed in charge, and see how great job they've done so far. That's sarcasm. History has proven that the majority of times women are in charge. There is peace, there is advancement in every possible way. Women are more respected, taken seriously, and honored when women are in charge. There's fewer hate crimes. There's fewer upheavals and political coups. When women are in charge, there's more peace. And this is because women are more level-headed. They don't jump into war and attacks. They're strategic. They're brilliant. Not all women, but the majority of female leaders just always rule better than men. And I don't want the needle to slip the other way, where women are mostly in charge. I want an equal access. I want as many women to be there as men. And I want to see a lot more non-white people in charge. And we shouldn't elect someone just because they're a minority. Of course not. But we need to start electing people, not on their race, but their qualifications. And if somebody is white, just keep in the back of your mind, how well has the last 46 white presidents done for us? How have they upheld rights of minorities? How have they protected trans safety? Being out of the closet? How have they protected women? Did they support rapists? Until we consistently vote for people who aren't white, cis, heterosexual, even if there is a half of a dozen more qualified people who aren't, we're screwed. And based off the activities of some of these white men like Trump, they're screwing your underage daughters too, once they get done screwing you, metaphorically speaking.